Welcome to LCS International Airport. Now boarding flights for Golden Guardians and FlyQuest. Welcome to Gate Gossip with Curly and Sandy. Guys, what the frig is going on in the LCS right now? What is going on with us?
Oh boy, what a time to be alive, man. I'm just now really seeing for the first time the overlay that we've got going on in here. Dude, this is sick. This is so good.
Man,
Absolutely. Hats off, Joe.
thank you. I made it today. All graphics were made this morning. I am a professional, promise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, but all right. So, welcome to Gate Gossip. This is a concept we made a couple weeks ago when everything was just blowing up in the LCS. Roster changes were still happening. I was like, even raised the idea of a roster roulette segment on one of our flight checks, but then we went 0-3 and it started the dry spell we had. But now
Yeah.
we get to reveal this, where Gate Gossip, where we take a little bit of a step back from what we normally do on Mondays and have a little more of a juicy, hot take only
Spicy.
kind of night where we talk about just like thing, and there's not going to be consistent night for it. It's just going to be like, all right, news happened. Sandy, Curly, when are you available?
That's the one thing we definitely want to point out is that this is not going to be a regular weekly show.
Mhm.
This is just me and Curly popping in when the time is right, when the spice is flowing.
And what are the odds that the first episode that we're ready for just so happens to be some major changes with our organization?
With our own team?
Like,
I think it's perfect, right? How else can we have timed this,
how
right?
else can we start it? Like, I guess first things first, I realize we're masters of scheduling in the fact that right now the LCS Academy team, which was formerly the LCS team, is playing.
Now about to play. So what you guys can do is kind of split screen your monitors and have us up on one half and put the Academy stream on the other half. Mute the Academy stream.
Mute the Academy
you
stream.
know.
You got to hear our takes.
They'll play it. They'll play two games. You know that.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to catch it. Don't worry. Just
Absolutely.
come listen to our sweet dulcet tones.
Sweet dulcet tones. And so yeah, we got a good amount of things to talk about. So Licorice, he's gone.
Yes.
Philip, he's
Pulling
in.
out.
Academy and main roster pulling a switcheroo, and Solo once again in the void of the LCS. And oh boy, I guess Sandy, give me your initial takes when you read yesterday's announcement.
I was shocked. I think I tweeted something to this effect that the Academy team coming in was expected and definitely desired by a lot of the fan base, by us on the regular show. Knox and I had spent the night before proclaiming the need to bring in the Academy team. And now I think I was a little more surprised that they brought in all five instead of some kind of iteration where they mixed and matched.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see, you know what? It makes sense. They've got the synergy. They've got the cohesion. Bring them all in.
See,
the licorice news was a lot more surprising for me.
So much more surprising.
Was not expecting the sale, the transfer.
No.
Yeah, I mean, how about you?
Well, so I want you to know that yesterday I watched the VOD of, you guys doing flight check without me. It was nice to see the moments where I was missed, the theories of where the hell I was, what had happened to me. I assure you my house hasn't burned down. I don't have a house. I live in a dorm. But I wrap up listening to you guys talk about how you want to see at least some of the Academy players up.
Yeah.
I go to fill up my water bottle and I get back to my room and I load twitter.com and the first thing I see is that announcement. So the timing on my end, astronomically insane. because I'm just hearing like my co-hosts rant about we need Academy Boys up there, and I'm like, yeah, I would have said the
Mhm.
same damn thing if I was there last night. And then they did it
And then they did
and
it.
more. They did it and
Yeah.
more. Licorice. All right, so we're gonna focus on Licorice right now.
Yeah.
Licorice going to Golden Guardians. From what it sounds like, from what I could get with his tweets, from the interview today on Oracle's Elixir that Nick Fan did, and just like any observation maybe you might have seen on the stage with her performance. For some reason, he just couldn't find his spot in FlyQuest. For some, I don't know what it is. I don't know why he couldn't grab it, and that's admittedly a little bit of a shame if you ask me, because like he's supposed to be this great player, and then somehow he comes to our organization. He's like a little sad, and I feel
Yeah.
bad for that. But I'm like hoping Golden Guardians does him a little better. I guess it's like with the state of our record right now, it's a little bit of a side grade. So I'm curious as to what you think on Licorice's end was the appeal, and admittedly, do you think he had any control over this? I know they said it was primarily in his
Yeah. Yeah, I
decision.
think yeah, the interview the podcast that Nick did with Tim Zevenhuizen of Oracle's Elixir was really really good. Everyone should go check that out over on Tim's YouTube channel when you get a chance.
Absolutely.
Uh yeah, from Nick's words, he was basically saying that this was a three-way mutual decision that
Yeah.
he would not have made the transfer unless Licorice was good with it.
Absolutely.
And it's been clear for some time now that there was a disconnect among the team. And, Licorice, per his tweets yesterday, he's excited to go over to the new team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, I really hope that that's an opportunity for him to get into a situation that is better for him, where he can perform better and get back to some of the heights that we know he's been able to achieve in the past. Um, in terms of the move in general, though, uh, you know, it was interesting. Nick said that he gave them a number. He gave Golden Guardians a number that he did not expect them to say yes to,
Yeah.
but they said yes to it anyway.
Yeah.
So they clearly wanted him. Nick alluded to having competed with Golden Guardians for Licorice in the off season,
Yeah.
which was really interesting, and now they've got him. So clearly they see something there over Solo, um, that still really appeals to them.
And so
So
that's something I want to ask about. Like Solo, we had him last year, and then he
mhm,
just went nowhere. And then Golden Guardians picked him up, and then now they're picking up Licorice instead. What like
yeah,
I can't personally like I think Solo is a solid player. So I'm
hmm
curious as to why what in their mindset, what in their discussions makes them think that Licorice is so much more desirable than Solo? Because admittedly, with their
yeah,
performances this season, I'd say they're on the same level in this iteration of League of Legends.
yeah. Well, I mean, I did note that Golden Guardians announced that in addition to acquiring the contract, they extended it. So it seems to me that they're looking at Licorice as a player they want to continue building around.
Okay.
That they see him as a piece to their puzzle that maybe they feel like they've been missing.
Yeah.
I think there's other aspects to their play that they could stand to upgrade. Now, I will say Golden Guardians has been looking a lot better in summer in comparison to spring, and I think they are a legitimate challenger for that final eighth place playoff spot. So it's going to be really interesting to see between the new look Golden Guardians, the FlyQuest Academy team slash whatever iterations come through, and the old boys in CLG to see which of those three teams scrap it out in the battle arena for a final playoff spot.
Now, narrative-wise, I think
Yeah,
something that's going to be interesting is Kumo stepping up and then having to face Licorice. Like,
having to face Licorice.
that's
Yeah,
that's just so interesting to me because it's such a short, like, at least with some of the other Fly alum matches, there's like, number one, I don't think any of them have ever actually played together. Number two, none of them were on the roster at the same time. This, it's just gonna be a a literal week since they were playing, probably like in the same mishmash of scrims to now they have to
yeah,
face each other.
yeah. This is straight up ex teammates going head to head.
So I wonder,
Yeah, and
like,
it's
do you think there might be any emotional portion there? Like, will Kumo have to have this, I guess, desire to show up Licorice whenever they face each other?
so I'm gonna say maybe minimally.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both professional players.
Absolutely.
I do I will say I can't imagine a scenario where Kumo doesn't want to show that he deserves the spot,
Yeah,
and carries that at least as motivation. And
absolutely.
like I can't know all of his motivations, all the emotions, all the intentions going on, but I know that it seems fairly realistic that you would want to say, okay, this is the guy that I have replaced. I kind of need to prove that I'm worthy of replacing him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, so I guess now that brings us to the Academy team as a whole, since they're in this weekend.
Mhm.
And as I know, if anyone's here that had watched Monday's VOD or podcast, they were talking a lot about how we want to see the Academy team up there. Like, we had it in a little bit different sense. We did not expect the whole roster to be up there. I know I didn't. I expected us to bring the same three guys up and still leave Palafox and Jose Dioto.
Yes.
Um, whew, I I'm actually excited. I think, if the Academy team feels they're ready,
Mhm.
if Nick feels they're ready, if all the coaches collectively, because from what I gathered in the Oracle's Elixir podcast today, the interview, there was a lot of like group discussion here. They tried to make this as unanimous and collaborative of a decision as possible, which is possibly why it took so long for us to get here. For all
Mhm.
we know, because we're not on the back end, they might have started these talks a couple weeks ago, and it's just now to the execution phase.
I was having this exact thought actually, where it's a bit of a meme right now in the scene, to talk about this was not a spur of the moment decision. But I can't bring myself to believe that the team, that the coaches and Nick looked at the past weekend's 03 and said, "All right, that's it. Uh, you know, um, we're bringing in the academy team." Like I would have had to, I have to think that there was some level of, okay, we're starting to think about it. Okay, we're really starting to think about it and maybe look at how we could implement this. Um, okay, now we're going to do it,
Yeah.
based off of the results.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly doubt that this was a reactionary move, because of the level of drasticness that
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm gonna read Tim Smalls um, in chat because I have a thought that this might help set up. Quote,
sure.
Nick basically said that they had no actual inclination or even a hint of letting Licorice go, except GG must have paid him multi-millions, which he said. One of those everyone has a price situations. I have not forgotten who you are, TMB. But, so, like, kind of similar to how Perks probably wouldn't have been sold to C9 if C9 wasn't like, here's literally all of our money. But and then to go on, TMB says, but it's interesting to know that Lyco was never benchable in their eyes, but I guess selling him keeps helps with Kumo getting the time they want to. Now, to backtrack to the first one, I think they might have been having discussions of how they can move around the roster with the academy thing, and I don't think that the like as they said, licorice being sold was not in the concept, but GG approaching with a big enough check was the trigger to such a drastic change, and that's why it's so dramatic. Because maybe there's an iteration where they just tried one academy player a game or something, but they kept licorice in there. But now they've just gone just full send it. Try it, like, we're already losing such a big personality. Let's just go for the whole thing. Do you think that might
Yeah.
have any merit?
What I would have to say to that is, when you are the manager of a team, sports, esports, however,
Mm-hmm.
you can't operate always in a win now mindset. You do have to think about the next year and the year after that and what
Yeah.
it might look like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Nick was fairly clear um, in that he's already starting to think about what 2022 is going to look like. And that's really good because that's what we need to be doing. If he was not thinking about 2022, that would be kind of concerning. Um, so for him to have a price point in which he is willing to sell licorice indicates to me that they have not firmed up their plans whatsoever. That no player on the team right now is unbenchable, or they're never going to let go of that player.
Yeah.
So that's how I would see it, and like I would agree that, I mean, obviously, licorice was never benchable for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but that doesn't mean that he had to be in their plans for the next year.
Yeah.
So that's how I am perceiving it right now.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So actually, I guess now I want to get into a discussion that I plan to bring up,
Sure.
um, that we're talking about next year, and
Yeah.
something that, even if none of us as a fan base of FlyQuest pay attention to, has an impact, is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes. Okay.
They're in
This
the
is
finals right now.
They are.
They're
I
down
don't.
one game, but they've still got like a max of 6 games to go. So there's
Yep.
still the rest of the series.
They absolutely could play it.
If they
Uh,
win, there could potentially be an injection of money into FlyQuest,
I mean,
like our
you would
part of the
have.
budget.
Yeah, you would have to think that even making it to the finals is good for the team.
Gonna get us some more
Now,
next year.
what I will say about when it comes to having ownership that also owns the Milwaukee Bucks and things like that, um, it's that it's not necessarily that success from the NBA team correlates to more spending for the esports organization.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the issue was that the NBA in and of itself couldn't have any fans in, so they couldn't sell
Yeah,
tickets,
yeah,
which was a huge portion of their revenue, right?
yeah. Which is why
Um,
you saw the NBA backed organizations, aside from Hundred Thieves, obviously
right.
struggle a little bit.
Yeah, Golden Guardians had major issues. Their budget got absolutely slashed. So I would expect, now that the NBA is getting back to a state of normalcy,
Mm-hmm.
I would expect budgets to increase. Now, what that exactly looks like, I don't know. But I would think there'd be some level of increase there. I mean,
Absolutely. Like even if we keep the same percentage, if the
Yeah.
gross value increases, so do we. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I would hope that there is more room in the budget next year to go after some higher profile players, um, in addition to some of the rookie talent and amateur talents that we have kind of brought up. So, I mean, one thing that was super interesting for me in the interview with Nick is that he feels, he said several things about the academy team. He said that he believes that Tomo is LCS ready, which was really interesting for
I'd
me.
agree with that
Um,
personally.
yeah, I think I would too. Um, I think I basically the way he put it to me, or he not to me personally, but he that I heard it was he feels that hang on, I gotta delete
We
something.
made it big. We've got bots.
We've got
Woo!
bots in our chat right now.
Bots
Let's
asking if
go,
we want to be famous. Hell yeah.
man. Some bans. Can I get some bans in the chat?
Oh
Nice.
man, what a premiere.
Love
We've
to see.
got bots here.
We've got bots in the chat, folks. How good is that? Basically, he thinks that the academy team, is ready to at least show what they've got in the LCS.
Yeah, show us what
You
you've
know,
got.
they nice Rick and Morty reference.
Thank you.
What it depends on the player,
Mhm.
for sure. I think he mentioned that, NXI still needs some time to grow, which I think is fair. But, Tomo, Diamond, Kumo, even Triple, I think are ready to at least show what they can do on the LCS level. And he even said that, sometimes what you need is to get humbled a little bit.
A little bit.
And that's okay. That is okay to do. So, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this team in the weekends matches. It's going to be a few tough ones for sure. I had the schedule up. Yeah, because it's Cloud9,
C9,
CLG.
CLG, and Immortals. The
Yes,
weekend of
C9 one is going
blues.
to be tough. So it's especially for like NXI.
Yeah,
He's got 3 tough junglers. He's got Blabber, Broxah, and Xerxes.
absolutely.
Really, really good junglers there.
It's definitely going
So
to test his metal a lot.
yeah, but what I'm excited to see is how he compares to his lock-in performance, right?
Yeah,
And see where the growth has come.
absolutely. I'm excited to see them play because I think this more decisively. Like I already had us beating CLG. Regardless, I had faith that somehow we'd beat CLG. I felt like they were down bad, a little worse than us, and I expected that. Even like like after last weekend, I didn't expect this much of a change, but I expected we
Hmm.
would bring up at least someone from Academy, like just that. And so I had
Yeah,
firm belief we would beat CLG from the get go. Now we might beat Immortals. I think there's like a potential that we can beat Immortals. I think Kumo is just gonna rip on revenge, for one.
yeah. I mean, I remember my I went 0-3 for my predictions, is what I said,
Yeah,
and I am more willing to say, okay, I think the CLG game is winnable now, and I think the Immortals game is winnable now. I still
absolutely.
am um, hesitant when it comes to Cloud9.
Oh, Cloud
I think
Nine.
it's gonna be a
I
toughie.
like I think we're going to put up a better fight than the LCS, the main roster was.
Yeah.
I don't expect us to win that, but I think our boys are still going to show up. Like Academy dudes, you guys. What interjection? How are we supposed to refer to the players now? Like this is throwing me for a loop. The Academy roster that is now the main roster, and the main roster that's the Academy roster. Who's what?
Man, how do you even do that? Yeah, that's kind of tough.
Like so, just to set a precedent, if we say Academy, it's the one that's been the roster for the most part of the summer split. If we say main roster, it's the one that's currently playing Academy as we talk
Okay, that sounds good to me.
for this
And
moment.
Speaking of which, they're in the. I'm definitely not watching this game right now.
No, you should. It
They're
can give us some nice juicy
they're in the middle of
injections.
a team fight. It's actually they ended up winning the team fight. It was
Nice.
a
We are against
three
C9
for
Academy.
a 3-for-1.
I think this is the first time I've seen this roster have a gold lead in a while. Anyway.
Look, that's a little rough to say.
A little rough to say, but hey, how's Hunter Talks, welcome in. So yeah, so to keep
Welcome
this
to the
nice and
show.
short and sweet as we meant to, I think we got to keep moving it along, because I
Yeah.
think the TLDR of the discussions we were getting into with the Academy roster is our hopes are higher now.
Our hopes are much higher. I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like I can turn on the stream this weekend
Yeah,
and kind of watch with hope and anticipation
anticipation.
instead of despair. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's just kind of how it's been.
So now, Philip,
Yes.
if you guys take the time to go to @therealphilip5 on twitter.com, the pinned tweet from yesterday you will see is that he has made it into the top 10 players on the North American server. So if that doesn't hype you up, you can also go to leagueofgraphs.com/summoner/NA/therealphilip and see that he has a 55% win rate. And that
Overall,
champ pool.
I thought you were about to say on a particular champ. I was like,
No.
55% win rate on Soraka top. And I
No,
was gonna
in
go,
general.
Oh, okay.
And look at that champ pool. He's got some
Yeah.
aggressive champs. We've got Aatrox, Renekton, Wukong, Jace, Rumble, Silas, and a 56% win rate with Lee Sin. So he's going to be able to adapt to whatever, like when he's LCS Academy ready. Because I don't think he's playing this weekend. I know Kumo's doubled up this weekend. I don't know if he's going to be playing next weekend though. But whenever he gets in,
I would expect him to be playing in week 7 of Academy.
Yeah.
I think is the expectation for him.
Okay.
Nick talked about he's an 18-year-old
from Vancouver.
Canada,
Yeah, he
from
loves
Vancouver.
He loves his Canadian.
He loves his
guys.
Canadian top laners. And the visa situation might be a little tough, but they're going to try to bring him in as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Man.
I'm always excited to see Academy amateur talent coming up and see how we can develop. Hopefully it works out and we get a new talent for ourselves.
For sure.
One thing I wanted to pose to you is maybe just a general overview. This LCS split has just been absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
I think is the best way to put it. We have not gone a week without some kind of swap or benching or coaching resignation. It's been a roller coaster.
Well, let me go to Mark Z.
Yeah, he had
his tweet yesterday.
He had a good tweet.
Let's see, what was it? Don't think for any second you can go a week without the LCS players moving players around.
Exactly.
I feel like
all the time.
If you take a look at the summer split, you could do a highlight reel of the trades and like major quotes from any announcement videos or posts or whatever with the Benny Hill theme under it.
Yeah, no, that someone needs to make that ASAP.
Just a good supercut. It's like
yeah, that would be some excellent content. I would certainly enjoy that. It's actually the same music that could be used for this FlyQuest game right now because Cloud9 Academy has just straight up chased the team like all over the Rift, and it's kind of hilarious to watch.
Oh man. So
anyway,
what are your thoughts on Philip? What do you want to see? What's up? How do you feel about this young Canadian boy who probably just finished high school 2 weeks ago or whatever? I think Canada's school might still be in session shortly. I don't know.
I don't know how Canadian schools work. I am not an expert on the Canadian education system. I have a friend who is Canadian. I could ask him and report back to you.
Well, we all do.
Yeah, we've all got that Canadian friend,
Yeah,
right?
and his name is
Um,
Drek.
yeah, well, true, true, true. Uh, in terms of Philip, there's not much really to know about him. He played substitute mid lane for University of British Columbia, and then he played on Radiance in the top lane for straight up a month. I think he played in the Challengers Uprising Open
hmm
for them, where I think that team made it to the group stage and then proceeded to go 0-3 in the group stage. So I did not watch any of his games, so I don't really know what to say about him. Expectations, if he's a player that, as Nick said on the show, that the academy coaches were excited about, um, and are, hyped to see what he can do, then I'll also have a similar level of excitement and hype. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing him get on the Rift, and what he can do and how he can grow. So
Awesome. So I guess to bring it back around to solo, the forever signable then unsignable top laner. Man, I feel bad for the guy. I don't think he's
it's
had a
rough.
consistent home ever.
It's rough.
Like as a
Yeah,
player, I can only imagine because I remember his twit longer. One thing he said is, "I feel like I have to consistently prove myself over and over again."
yeah, that's rough.
And like, I wish the LCS would stop doing him dirty. I wish someone would keep him for a while. You know, I don't like with I don't know why he was let go last year with our signing. I think part of it has to do with our grabbing Licorice and Palafox like that and Diamond, that whole deal. So I can imagine that might have had something to do with it, because I'm guessing they were a bundle and we might have just only been trying for like I don't know. I don't know. That was last off season. Those moves already essentially happened. Um, TMB Smalls has a good one here where I agree here, kind of, as much as I'm hyped for Philip. Still surprised we didn't take Solo back. I know Philip is a prospect, but there's a reason he went this long without getting into Academy. Um, I feel like having a solid weak side top for the main roster, even if he isn't a vocal leader, should have still been good. And I think that raises, I guess, that actually raises some of why they might not have taken him. Um, because if I think Nick said it himself that we still struggled with having that guy on the team. There was no one on the main roster that was being the guy, even if they were a little bit of an asshole about it. Because he said it's all right if someone's a little rough as long as there's someone who's willing to make the shot calls, you know?
Mhm.
And we didn't have that with the main roster. So if Solo was going to come in here and not be a vocal leader, just be a weak side player, I don't know if that would have done much for us as a roster. So I guess I can partially see why me might not have picked him up, but still, I you know I, I want to see the guy be able to play in the LCS.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. In terms of getting solo for Licorice, I think that's just a side grade at best.
Yeah,
So I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know how that would have been, and I'd rather just pick up, um, some amateur talent and look towards development rather than,
for sure.
you know, get solo in there. So yeah. Yeah, I do feel bad for Solo. I was glad to see, I think Golden Guardians mentioned that they're going to, keep paying his salary through the end of the season, so he's not like completely dumped off the team. I think he's also acting in like a sub capacity,
Yeah,
however that looks. Um, but he'll at least be getting paid. He's not, getting thrown into the gutter or anything like that. So
Yeah. So then now, I think we've talked about a good amount of the stuff. So before we wrap things up, because there's still, what, 3-4 weeks left in the season?
yep.
Who's going to be the next roster change? Who's going to do it?
Ooh, next roster change.
And granted, there's some that might be a little more predictable because they might just reinstate some old members. But what do you think?
Hang on, let me.
I'll read off
pull up.
TMBs while you think about it. Ooh, he's got a couple. Ooh, all right. So we've got 2 from TMB here. I think there's some spicy ones. I thought I made some hot takes, but damn, these are fresh out of the fryer. Not the oven. They're like oil hot. It's going to burn you. Maybe not that, but TMB is saying that Afro might get benched for JJ to come up from the Dig Academy roster. I don't know.
I doubt that very much.
I don't know. TL signs Dardoch instead of and benches Armeo. I don't know.
No.
I think I'm gonna be real. And
Third time is not the charm for Team Liquid and Dardoch.
in the off chance that Dardoch is ever shown any second of this clip, I do not foresee any LCS roster ever featuring him in it ever again. Personally, I think when you get signed and removed, was it 7 times for the same issues? It's a curse. It's like, if I am wrong in my dramatic claim, he's only going to play a spring split before that team can afford someone better. And I'm not saying he's bad. He's a good player. But if you can afford someone who performs equal or better performance with less attitude problems, I would go for that.
I just don't. I don't see that happening in any context.
So what do you see happening with the 4 weeks left in the season?
Man, I'm looking at these.
I'll throw it out here. I think there's a CLG shift coming up.
Yeah, but like, who are they gonna bring up? Let's be honest.
Who said anything about bringing up? Maybe they might bring in. Who knows?
But who? From where?
Who knows?
When?
All right, let's see.
Their academy team is rough.
Hear me out. Solo.
Oh my gosh. Solo.
Solo steps in for Finn.
Oh man.
And DeMonte comes in for Poe Belter.
All right.
Here's two people in contract voids.
Here's what my prediction is.
Yeah.
Actually,
I do think it'll be CLG. I just don't know what. Those are just concepts.
Swaps this summer.
Really? You think we've finally calmed down?
I think we finally reached the end of our long regional nightmare. So
you think CLG's just gonna finally take the mantle of longest lost streak?
I think CLG has stuck with their roster this long enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they know, like, let's be honest, they don't have anyone good enough to take over for the players that they have on their main roster right now. I think they'll just stick with it.
All right.
That's my take on the matter there. So
okay, I can agree with you there to some extent that maybe there is a possibility we finally calm down. It's like we are at the point where I think after this weekend, mathematically, few things matter. Mm-hmm. So definitely, I mean, not that there was any expectation. I severely doubt anyone in the top 6 are going to be making any changes aside from restoring original rosters. So I think Centaurin's eventually going to get back on for TL whenever he's okay to. That's the only like guaranteed I see. I think CLG might make it. So a change, I don't know what it would be. But aside from that, I think I agree with you there. Maybe there's a chance that we finally actually calm down and
that
let
would be
rosters pan out.
my expectation. So
But then what are we going to talk about on Gay Gossip?
we'll just, the show's gonna have to go on pause until the off season kicks in, or we can chat up why G2 is sitting at 4-5 over in the LEC.
We'll do that maybe next time. G2 is having a rough time. G2.
Yeah.
I think G2 is actually being burdened with a similar curse of what we had of checking out because they lost to teams they didn't expect to, and I think that really demoralized them.
I think,
and unfortunately, Fnatic isn't going to sell them any more players, so they can't reach into their academy team like we can.
They are in a rough space. Fnatic looks good again.
Yeah, definitely top 3. Definitely top 3.
I would say definitely top 3. Maybe top 4, definitely. I think right now top 4 in EU is like in no particular order: Mad, Rogue, Fnatic, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Misfits.
Misfits is staying up there.
Like
I predicted
every week I expect Misfits to finally take a
slip
tumble,
up,
and they don't. Now, to be fair, they should have lost that game to G2. G2 should have closed that game out, but Misfits played around them, outplayed them for sure. So,
alrighty. Well, I think we've gossiped all we really can. I think we've covered all of our bases.
We've covered all the bases here.
Yeah. So for to summarize everything, we wish Licorice the best. We are hopeful for Philip and Solo. Please, one day, find your way home in the LCS. I hope for all of you.
I hope he finds a coaching spot. That would be super cool.
That would be super cool. And, well, until the next time anything big happens in the LCS, Sandy Toes, would you like to say any shout-outs, anything before we wrap this up?
If you guys pop over to twitch.tv/academy, you'll be just in time to catch the second game of the new old Academy main roster.
The main Academy Kumo's still there.
Academy. They won game 1.
So we did.
They're up 1-0, so that's good news. But go support them. The chat is absolutely popping off in Espanol.
Tuki time. For me personally, as we wrap this up, I want to shout out some of the usual suspects, but 100 Talks, oh my god. I like the support they put in today when we announced we were doing this. I love it so much.
Very, very good.
Drek, if you're back in the chat, Nox showed us the screenshots. Oh my god. You're such a nice, supportive person, and I love you. Let's see. Bam. What else? Oh, the FlyQuest community. When we dropped this in GenCat chat, your responses made me feel so warm inside. Like
great.
I was like, you guys are awesome. You guys are real awesome. Like, seriously. And of course, also the Academy /main/Academy boys. As they are stomping. So until next time anything happens in the LCS, we're now going to board our flights to watching LCS Academy. This has been take off and watch lolesports.com. See you guys around. Stay safe out there. Sandy, say your goodbyes.
Adios, peoples.
All right. Peace, y'all.